Okay, proud Senior National Sales Director Cindy Williams here with a message for Annaka and Nancy's national area. Annaka asked me to make this little message for you. I know you're having your virtual seminar, and so I promised her I would do it, and then, oh my gosh, just got overcommitted. I'm not overwhelmed because that's an attitude, but overcommitted. So I'm making this right at the deadline, but it gives me great joy and honor to do this for Annaka and Nancy, because that's the Mary Kay way, you guys. The founder of our company, Mary Kay Ash, she really and truly was serious. She took God as her partner. She established two pillars, foundations. One, to put God first, family second, career third, and the second was to live and work by the golden rule. And that is impossible of the carnal mind, of the flesh, but it is possible through the Spirit. So I just encourage you to read in Luke. Look up golden rule. What does that really mean? It's pretty heavy. We think about doing to others, love thy neighbor as thyself, that's easy, but it's not easy. It's actually impossible, because it says in Luke to really live by the golden rule that if someone takes your coat, you say, oh, here's my shirt too. Like, really? No. But that's God's plan, to be so united with one cause that we are one body with many parts. And that's the way I feel about doing this message for you today, that my sisters, Nancy and Annaka, my sister NSDs, wanted me to give you a special message. So I am all in to deliver the message. And I said, what do you want me to share? And they said, whatever you want to. And I was like, okay. So I'm going to take you back to how this all started for me. It was December of actually 1981 when I signed my independent beauty consultant agreement. And isn't it interesting? My last active day in Mary Kay will be December of 2021, 40 years. There's just so much to God's plan and to the numbers. This is year 2020. There's just so much. And this crazy season, when we think of all the things that we have lost, the connection, not being to hug each other, I hope you feel my virtual hug, not being to gather in real life for seminar. Come on, you guys, that is tragic, especially for those of us that love the connection and the communion. And for me, I've only got this year and next year left. And to be top 3 in the Ruby seminar 3 years ago was a dream come true. And then to be number 1 last year and this year was like, come on, that's just, I'm in awe. I'm in awe every day that I could be so successful. I'm in awe of this opportunity and of the little girl that signed her agreement in 1981 that just stayed the course. I always say, congratulations, if you had the courage to sign your independent beauty consultant agreement and your grit to stay the course. And I know we celebrate the people that join on Monday and become a director on Tuesday and a national on Thursday, but I celebrate longevity. Yes, I salute the people that do it quickly, and I think it's amazing because all things are possible. But those of you that stayed the course, faith is when you do something and believe in something when there's no evidence that it's real or worth it. So congratulations to you. And we just had an Offspring National Sales Director, Mary Durr, that's been a part of my life in Mary Kay for 37 years. I brought Mary Durr into Mary Kay as my personal team member in February of 1983. I was a consultant. I was a red jacket. I was entering DIQ in March. And so I started thinking, who can I talk to? Who can I talk to? She was my first cousin's wife in Arizona, and I was in Louisiana. So when you have a goal, you step outside of your comfort zone. But now, 37 years later, Mary just finished to become an independent senior national sales director June 30th. She will be the only national to debut in 2020. But I believe that momentum, that belief breaker, is going to move us all into having an unbelievable, successful year for Seminar 2021. I really believe that we will have 50 new national sales directors debut. I know that sounds crazy, but in 1999, I was the only national to debut to cross over at 99. And then in 2000, there were over 30. So I've already had evidence of what can happen when momentum is built. And so don't forget the book of remembrance, to look back and think, when were you a beast? When did you make miracles happen in your personal life, not just in your Mary Kay life, from birthing that baby to, setting a goal and completing it, whether it was running a race or achieving a goal with I graduated from high school. I'm super proud of that. Maybe you graduated from college. Maybe you had to do whatever it takes for that window to push in, to press in, to get it done. Think back to those times when you had that victory, that success. as I will prompt you to what's possible for this year. And so I did join Mary Kay. Matthew was 10 months old, and I really just wanted to be a work from home mama. I went to my first Mary Kay meeting because the girl that invited me. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to a Mary Kay meeting. But she just kept on, and she kept saying if I would go with her, that I would get a prize. Well, I didn't want a prize, but finally she changed, and she started talking about if I would go get with her, she would get a prize. So I was like, so if I just show up with you at this dumb Mary Kay meeting, you're going to get a prize? And she said, yes. Yeah. Okay, girl, I got you. Here's your first sign. If you want to be a great team leader one day, you've got to be a great team player. And I went for her. But that's when the magic happened. I was exposed to what Mary Kay was really all about. And Linda had tried to tell me, but I needed the synergy of the event. So I just encourage you to think about the power of seminar, because almost all my dreams were birthed at seminar. And this year we can't physically be there, but could that be a blessing instead of a burden? Because now we can have so many more people attend. I asked Annaka how many. Right now you have 113 people registered for seminar in your family, Nancy and Annaka. And I said, well, you know what? Let's double that. Let's just double that to have a goal of at least 200. And if each one of you that are registered just talk to a sister consultant and say, come on, girl, you can't miss this, that would be 200. And I looked up in the Bible, where to put it. It's in 2 Kings. It's when Elijah is leaving the blessing to Elisha. I think that's how it works. You get mixed up. And Elisha knew Elijah was going to be with the Lord, was going to go to heaven. And so he wouldn't leave his side. If you read the scripture, he just wouldn't leave his side. And finally, Elijah asked, what can I do for you, Elisha? What do you want before I'm gone? And he said, I want a double portion of your blessing. It's not exactly the word blessing. Oh, here it is. Oh, goody, I found it. Spirit, let me inherit a double portion of your spirit. And so, I don't know, that just occurred to me because Annaka says that you guys want to double the size, the number of directors in your national areas. And so I believe that's going to happen. Back before COVID, it would take us, we could do maybe 2 parties, come on, in a day. You know, by the time you set up, load your car, drive there, set up, do the party, fill the orders, drive back home. But now you could do 4 or 5 or 6. Annaka said, y'all have a goal of 10 parties in a month. And I said, well, that's not enough because they're all virtual. If you're doing live parties, yes, 2 a week, 2.5 a week. But virtually, you guys, you can do 10 parties. I mean, you can do look how many people I can talk to today. Other versus, if this was a real event, I would have flown in, been there with you. Oh my gosh, but now virtually, bam, we can be right there with you. So look at this as a blessing. It's almost like the walls have been torn down that divide us, the walls of churches. And really, what was the church intended to be? For us to go out and see the people, not just to bring everybody to, you know, we are the church, right? So these walls have been torn down. It's almost like the Red Sea is parted, the Pink Sea is parted for us. We've been given an opportunity that we've never been given before. And so let's just look at that as opportunity instead of obstacle, right? You know, bitter or better, victim or victor, right? And so this can really be a game changer. What took you months to become a director before can take you weeks. Really, I mean, think about it. It's just the truth. And so really get game on with this virtual and enrolling people and exposing people, because it's not the great ones that are most successful in Mary Kay. It's the director with the biggest unit. She wins. It's the consultant with the biggest customer base. She wins. It's the national with the most offspring directors in her Mary Kay area. That's what it is. It's the quantity. I don't just look for quality. You would have missed me. I was a hot mess when I was the new beauty consultant. Oh my gosh. I had a colorful childhood. My mom was married many times, and that's a whole story. But my mom and dad divorced when I was 6 years old. My dad always owned a bar, and then my mother only knew how to do that. So she always owned a bar. They weren't the same bars, but in between all my mother's marriages, she would go back to work, and it would always be working in a bar. So I grew up in a bar, okay? So when I tell you I didn't look the part, act the part, or talk the part as an independent career professional Mary Kay girl, I can tell you that is true. But Jackie Swank, Lord, I'm so grateful for my leader. She saw me through eyes of greatness, and she did not ever criticize me. She just affirmed me and said, good job, Cindy. I know you can do better. And I joined as a star consultant. I understood the value of having product on hand. I wanted to set a pretty table, deliver on the spot. I wanted to give myself every advantage to succeed. And I knew having product was an advantage. Nobody had to convince me of that. So I came in as a star. I joined December 8th. The quarter ended December 15th. That was the last time I was a Sapphire star as a consultant. Every quarter after that, I raised the bar. So raise the bar. Don't ever shoot to be a Sapphire. You have a rough quarter. There's no rung to hit on the way down. You get sick, life happens. Shoot for Pearl Girl or shoot for Diamond or minimum Ruby. So you've got a rung to catch if something comes up. So I was raising the bar on myself, and on $300 weeks and 400, then 500, then 1,000. I just wanted to, build a strong customer base and be a servant. I just thought of myself as genie in the bottle. You rubbed that cleanser, I popped out. The one-time sale really didn't mean anything to me. I wanted you to love Mary Kay, to get benefits from it, use it the rest of your life. I wanted to be your beauty consultant forever and ever. I connected. I talked to the people, not at them. There's a difference. I listened. I was all in on how I could serve them, almost like bread broken and wine poured out. Jesus gathered his disciples around, and they broke bread to transfer what he was really working so hard to leave them, to build trust and relationship. And that's what we do in Mary Kay. We break open that cleanser, we break open that moisturizer, and that's how we build trust around the table. Now we just do it around a Zoom or around a Facebook closed group, or however you're doing it, you guys. It's just connecting with the people. And so that's what I did. But I was scared to death to move up. I did not want to be a sales director because my director was perfect. Oh my God, she looked pretty, she talked right, she smelled good all the time. I thought, I can never be that girl. So I blocked that out. So all the things that you have, your limited beliefs, put them in a box and just don't worry about them. Just get there and then figure it out. Then I just went about my merry way. And I joined in December of 81, December of 82. I went to a workshop. I was a future director. I want to say my pen, because I wanted to be at the top of the food chain. So if you're going to stay in consultant field, get at the top. Be a star consultant, be in your red jacket. Your director's going to love you. I was a rock star in my unit. And I wanted the top. So the top pin that doesn't say DIQ, I didn't want to be that, was future director. So I went to this workshop in December, and this director walked up to me and said, well, honey, when do you want to be a director? And I said, oh, I don't want to be a director. I love being a consultant. And she said, well, I'm not going to waste my time talking to you. I'm going to go talk to somebody with a goal. And I was like, okay. Nobody had ever said anything, but I was awesome. And then she said, well, how many recruits do you have? And I said, I have 8. See the pin, future director. And she said, well, you don't even have enough people to be a director, so how would you even know? And she marched off, and that was a turning point. I'm so grateful for her. Victim or victor, because as she walked away, I thought, well, I'll just go get the people, and then I still won't become a director, because I was not afraid of getting the people. I knew there was so many people out there that if I would just lead them and love them, share this product with them, that I could be successful, that I could get the numbers. I was never, ever doubtful of that. I just was doubtful for my ability to lead them after I got them. I didn't want to do all that director stuff, but I just put that aside and I focused on doing the work. And we went from, I got my first gold medal in January. So, and then back then we went to Dallas for training prior to entering DIQ. It was different back then, but for me it was perfect because I still didn't want to be a director, but I love to learn. I wasn't going to miss that training. So off I go to Dallas, Texas to whatever they called it, DIQ week. And that's where another miracle happened, because all I really wanted to do was to be a work from home mama. I did not want to leave my babies. I had moved so much as a child. I never went to the same school 2 years in a row in my life. That's for a whole nother video. But I wanted my kids to be stable and to be peace in my home. There was never peace in our home. And so when one of these staff members talked at that DIQ training about family, I was like, I sobbed through the whole class because I don't really know what he said, but God touched his words when they left his mouth to fall on my ears, that if I wanted to have healthy, happy, confident kids, I better give them a healthy, happy, confident mama. And I knew I was a hot mess. And so I heard them say, if you broke a company record, anybody could come to speak at your debut. And I thought, well, I'm going to go home and break a record. I'm going to get that guy, come tell my husband everything he just told me, and it was going to change my marriage, change my future, be a generational blessing. I really believed it. So I left that workshop with the same little scared girl that didn't want to be a director, and I grew my team. I was willing. I didn't care if I had to hold 10 parties to sell $100, and you only had to hold one. I didn't compare myself with anybody. I just knew if I saw the people and if I loved them and led them, that I could build a team. And build we did. We grew from 10 to I think 56 in 3 months. Back then you had to take the whole 3 months of DIQ. And we broke not one but 2 company records. So I'm just giving you hope. I didn't even want to be a director, but I was willing to do what it took to get there. So just get there and then figure it out. And then once I was there, I looked around, I was like, those were my people. The sheep know the shepherd's voice. I'm the one that traded her foundation color out 3 times, held her baby, patted her dog. I'm the one that created this team. So I was a good shepherd. And so I was ready to lead that team. It was like not an intangible, what is a director? It was, those were my people. And so I became an independent sales director. And through DIQ, we are in Premier Club. So those of you that are really wanting to move up, you don't have to wait a long time. And that was before, well, we had to physically go do all the parties. Now we can work so much more efficiently. And the rest is kind of the rest of the story. Had 2 more children. Now my boys are grown. I started when I was 25. Then I was 35, and then I was 45, and then I was 55, and now I'm almost 65. Is that crazy? But it's been such a beautiful life. Oh my gosh, not just because of the income. I've made, money. I've traveled the world. I've experienced things that most people only dream of, but that's not the greatest gift. It's who I've become in the process. It's my circle of influence. It's Annaka and Nancy being my friends. So I want you to take a deep breath and really think about, what do you want in your one life? And how something as simple as holding Mary Kay parties will get you there. And how quickly will you hold them? The closer together, the better you'll get, the more confident, the more courageous, the more you're able to model that for your team. And it's not perfect. It's not even pretty. It's just real. I love that country western song. It ain't pretty, but it's real. I'm going to close out with 2 thoughts, okay? They asked me to talk about 20 minutes, so I think I'm about up. 2 things that I love. This one is my favorite. It's James Michener, and it says, the master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his information and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he does, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing. To him, he's always doing both. Am I working or worshiping right now? I don't know. I don't know the difference. And in the Bible, the first form of worship was work. God gave Adam and Eve the job of tending the garden. So I don't know the difference. And then the last one, this is applicable to where I am in my life right now, but I've loved this for years. It's George Bernard Shaw. This is the true joy in life, being used for a purpose, recognized by yourself as a mighty one, being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it what I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle to me. It's a sort of splendid torch, which I have got a hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. So that's my message to you. I pray that you are going to receive a double portion of, it's not blessing, I keep forgetting the word, spirit, a double portion of spirit, that you will double your attendance for seminar from 113 to 200. Tag you're it. Nancy and Annaka can only do so much. You've got influence over your sister consultants and the people that you can bring into Mary Kay before August 13th so that they can get registered. And those you can gather at your home. Think about all the people that, you can't take a guest to seminar. You can have your mother, your father, your your kids, your friends, your family. You could even do a watch party as a team. So don't miss this opportunity. You've only got a few days left to get registered, because remember, dreams are birthed at seminar, and dreams really do come true in Mary Kay.